Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Overnight Action Report here at MarketStream.live. It's a new trading month, folks, March 1st, 2017. My name is Joseph Cusick with the Cusick Group Securities offered by MoneyBlock. The president spoke, and the global markets liked. Taking a look at the Asian markets overnight, they performed really well, especially in Japan. We saw that the Japanese Nikkei was up over 1.4% this morning. And what was notable was that we started to see some currency fluctuation. Dollar strength as the president spoke. It was a positively toned speech. Gave all of the talking points that everyone expected that he was going to hit on trade, tax reform, infrastructure spending, a very nationalistic type of discussion. But we did see that Japan was moving to the upside. The yen actually overnight continues to trade weak. The yen is trading against the dollar at 113.75. Also, what's notable out of Japan is that there was some headlines and a notable article from Bloomberg about Toshiba potentially unwinding its chip segment of its business. That could be a $13 billion deal. We're going to watch that one very closely. Toshiba has been under a lot of pressure because of its failed foray in the nuclear power plant business here in the United States. And so we'll watch Toshiba very closely. And the Japanese markets, actually taking a look at EWJ and just taking a look at the chart right now. Let's see if EWJ, the ETF that tracks Japan, bounces off of this 20-day moving average with some conviction after seeing the performance that we're seeing right now in the Nikkei. Otherwise, you're going to see, as we had discussed yesterday, some battleground between 51.23 and 50.50. That's an area where the bulls are going to have to step up if, in fact, Japan and this Japanese ETF, EWJ, is going to have any further momentum to the upside. Shifting gears and taking a look at China. China was actually up overnight about 0.2%. We did see in China, what was really notable was the fact that there was I believe it was a Bloomberg piece that came out, and an unidentified source came out from the Chinese government and said that they may curb steel and aluminum production due to the fact that there is concerns during what they call the heating months, basically from November through March, of pollution. So they're trying to do pollution control. Now, what's notable about this is that China is not only one of the major consumers of these metals, but they also are one of the major producers of these metals. That means that we could have, if there is any supply or production cuts on aluminum and steel in China, this could impact that sector pretty dramatically. And it could be a game changer. That was actually a quote from an Alcoa representative. Watch ACH, SLX, as well as AA, Alcoa, AA. And watch this sector in general. Watch the metals, especially if the $1 trillion infrastructure plan that President Trump is discussing does come into play. Now you could see why U.S. Steel might actually be in play, especially if there's production cuts in China. Very interesting. See how that flows over into the markets. Taking a look at FXI. Again, you're seeing a similar action here with the Shanghai Composite only up about 0.2% overnight. Let's see if we get some momentum up off of this $38 level to the upside. That will put a challenge of $38 would put the 20-day moving average into play. That means the short-term bulls, they could feel a little stressed. But the real area, the battleground, is going to be between $36.50 and $38. That's where the 50 and 20-day moving averages come into play. That's where, again, the bulls have to hold their ground in China. Finally, taking a look at Hong Kong. Hong Kong overnight was up 0.2%. You saw Hang Seng performing well. What was notable there is that you see financials as well as gaming names to the upside overnight. Let's see if that actually flows over here into the U.S., into those two sectors, especially since you're seeing that global PMIs, those purchasing managers indices. Why is that important? Why do people even pay attention to those? Because those forecasts are going to be forecasts for future growth globally. And we're seeing some numbers that are pretty positive, actually in line or above expectations globally. We've seen that in Asia. We're going to also talk a little bit about that in Europe, and that has been a catalyst for upside moves in not only Asia, but across the globe. All right, folks, that's it right now for the overnight action report here from MarketStream.live. Join me at 8:45 Eastern Time, where we're going to take a look at all the action in Europe. We'll see you then at MarketStream.live.